All right, welcome everyone. And thank you for understanding our little bit of late start. Hopefully everybody managed to get a coffee in between. So my name is Terri Fleming, and I'm the Portfolio Director of Operations for Health Research BC. And I'm so pleased to welcome you to this session as your facilitator. Before we begin, a little bit about the format. Each presentation will be 30 minutes long, 15 minutes for the presentation, followed by 15 minutes of Q&A. As facilitator, I will be monitoring the time closely so that we have about 10 minutes for questions, and so the second presentation can start on time. Thank you in advance to everyone for supporting our timekeeping. Now, I am pleased to introduce our first team. Please welcome Dr. Julia Schmidt. Dr. Julia Schmidt is interested in understanding life after brain injury. She is an assistant professor at the University of British Columbia, where she partners with community organizations and people with brain injury. Also with Julia today is Danny Wong, a person with lived experience of strokes and brain cancer. He is a peer support worker in their study and an instructor at UBC. Please welcome them both now, and we'll get started.
All right, thank you, everyone. Hi, Danny.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell you about our story. Our story is going to be maybe seemingly a little bit separate. I'm going to talk, Danny's going to talk, and then at the end, hopefully you'll hear them converge together on the projects that we're working on right now. Danny, do you want to give a little hello?
Yeah.
Get the scariness over with.
My name is Danny Wong, and this is my first time going to make a speech, but so I'll do my best. Maybe a little nervous, but you don't see it from the outside, so that means I'm hiding it really well. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we'll both do our best at hiding the nervousness and the heart beating, but we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Deep breaths in and out.
There you go.
Yeah. So I'll briefly tell you about my lab focus. So my lab, some of us are here today. We partner a lot with people with lived experience, community leaders, clinicians, policymakers, and as was said, our goal is to understand the brain injury experience and to address it through co-created interventions that we do with people with lived experience. And we're going to share our stories. It's a bit different format than I'm used to, and I'm not going to talk about background and results and findings. No statistics. It's more pictures on the slide. So that's new for me, and that's why we have my notes today, so I keep myself on track. Is also new for Danny, because this is the first time he's doing a talk like this. And I just wanted to acknowledge that everyone has their own story. We're here with our microphone telling our story, but everyone here has an important story to tell as well. Danny, you're up first to tell a little bit about your story.
Okay. For me, this is 11 years now from stroke and cancer. So from a person on a wheelchair, so can't able to talk properly. As I mentioned, couldn't even order a coffee properly. All I need is a coffee, one cream, and one sugar. But at the beginning, I always ended up coming home with black coffee. So I couldn't say the word sugar or cream. So at the end, GF Strong, I asked them to let me write it out, and I have to order it like, hey, this is what I want, instead of talking. So that was the first step, able to go outside instead of scared or nervous. So that's the beginning point. So stages from slowly progressive from wheelchairs to walkers to walking without it. And the last few years, I've been able to do even hiking and biking. So, but it took a lot of courage, but I'm here right now. I'm still standing. So yeah, so I'm going to tell you about my story, so my journey. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to share about these pictures as well?
Okay. This picture here, that was the first year of the pandemic. So instead of indoor, we have to go outdoors. So basically, we just still keep it going. Like we can still do the exercises. We can still talk. We can still get together. Afterwards, we might still go have a coffee or go somewhere have a little bun. So we still get it moving instead of staying in the house. So we just found ways to get involved. So instead of just staying indoors. So yeah. So the second slide on the one on the other side, that's it doesn't matter. We get together in a group. Even Halloween, we still try to have fun like kids. I know we're old, but we still try to have some fun. So never too old to have fun. just get everybody involved. So sometimes we have like even barbecues, get together, or even bingos. Do a little music sometimes. I know we still try to move a little bit, not much, but we can still wiggle a little bit. So we try to get everything more like normal, but not normal, but try. So yeah, yeah.
Great, yeah. So that's a bit about Danny's background, and I'll share about some of my background or what got us to this point together. I started my career as an occupational therapist, and I learned about that through volunteering at this place, which is in Alberta, called ARBI, and it's a brain injury rehab association. And then not a story for today, but I lived in Australia, did some occupational therapy there at this place here, and then also in Canada doing a lot of brain injury rehab. And in this, I was face to face with people like Danny who were new to stroke or brain injury, and really learned what life is like after an acute issue. Worked alongside people, and I think I was, primed for patient-partnered research when I eventually got there, because you're working alongside people, partnering with them, trying to find solutions. Also, not a story for today, but to get me to this stage now, I did a PhD that was in Australia, and then coming back to Canada, I did a postdoc in neuroscience. Both experiences, were had glimpses of patient-partner work, but really not what I'm doing now. And it wasn't until the appointment at UBC where I'm at that I just really was encouraged, and for my own sake, having the background of being an OT and working with people every day with experiences, I didn't want to be away from that. I wanted to still have my grounding in reality of what people like Danny are going through every day, not just inside the hospital, but living with this issue. So that's where I was encouraged to get connected with people with lived experience or community groups, and so I sought out the BC Brain Injury Association and other community associations. A mentor told me, you got to meet with Larry Mrose. He is at the BC Support Unit. I was writing a grant at the time, and they're like, you should get a letter from Larry. So I was like, okay, I'll go to Larry's office and meet with him to try and get a letter for my grant. That was the intention. And instead, what happened, I got a letter, of course, but I also learned that what I was wanting to do, to work with people, to stay grounded in realities, it has a name, and it's called patient-partnered research. And it was so helpful for me to have that as a goal. So Larry and I met a few times, and, learning about the process of patient-partnered research. Larry also insisted I meet with his neighbor, who's Debbie Chow, and she was running a community group that Danny was in for people with stroke. So you saw some of those pictures before. I was also supposed to share these pictures as well. This is me at GF Strong. It was my first appointment, meeting people with the BC Brain Injury Associations. And so when I went to Debbie's group, I met her. I was like, okay, what is this thing? What is she doing? And Danny's right. They were having so much fun, going to that. So they have a Thursday lunch that they do every week. And I went along a couple times to their lunches, and I was like, oh, this is where I belong, right? You know that feeling when you go into a place and we're like, oh, I'm home, right, perfect. So that's how I felt when I went to the group after kind of being in academia for only a few months, but just this is not making sense to me. It started to make sense to me. So I met Debbie and Danny there, and they were having so much fun. These people with, some of them, can't order coffee, can't walk, can't, and Danny, I'm hoping you're going to share some of the stories of the people. They were singing and dancing. They went to, playing sports, exercising, having campfires. And in these moments with these people, I was an invited guest. I was definitely not an expert. I was there. They were the experts. It was their program, and I was an invited guest into it. And I do want to share, Debbie can't be here today, and I do want to share, though, her a video from her. We made, I'll get into it later, but we did a project together, and this was a short film that we made at the end of this project. So it's just like a 40-second video, but you can hear Debbie's passion.
Okay, and one last thing I didn't get to say was through it
Can't
all, early on, we discovered that we found bliss, which is better life in stroke survival. And you have to have a stroke to be in our group, to really be accepted in our group, I think, right? Like, you have to, the lesions to show that you got it. Anyway, so, yeah, we found bliss. And this is Jax, my service dog in training.
I think it's so fun that Jax does like the well-timed hello at the end. And I would say Jax is, I think, still in training, even though this video has been filmed like 5 years ago. Yeah, so Debbie's also very good at acronyms. She has Better Life After Stroke Together, BLAST, or SOCIALS, which is Survivors.
Survivors offer camaraderie. See?
Together, socials and bliss. Yeah, it's very, very fun. I'll just talk about the research study that we did, and then I'm going to pass it on to Danny. So after seeing what Debbie and her group are doing, there's something really special there. Debbie and I decided, well, let's showcase this, shine a light on it. So we co-developed this study, like a qualitative study, to really understand what people's experiences are. And it's a peer-led peer support group. Again, I was an invited guest here. There was no facilitator or external person overseeing this. It was Debbie, Danny, and the other people in the group co-leading this. And that was an important part of this. For me in my journey to patient-partner research, this was like a key part of it, because I was like, oh, you can do a study together. A person with lived experience can be an author, can be on ethics, can be all this. It's not an impossible, hope and dream for me. So that was a really important lesson for me to learn. I'm going to shoot it over to you, Danny, and you can talk maybe about being part of research and some of these fun pictures that we're going to show too.
Okay. Basically, the group that I'm in, right at the very, very beginning, that would be like 1, 2. Yeah, this is about 3 years after I was discharged from GF Strong. For a few months, I have nothing to do, right? I was just found a way. I said, wait a minute, I used to do volunteering, like help people prepare taxes, basic taxes for the Chinese success group, people who doesn't speak English, help them do translation. But that was like 20 or 30 years, 25 years ago or so. I said, I can still do those, right? So that's how I started. And then I ended up, the first time I met Debbie, GF Strong, I said, wait a minute, someone have a stroke, and actually she was still happy and so on, and talking about, I said, there's nothing to celebrate about having a stroke. I said, there's something weird about this person. So I said, where do I meet? Get some more information. She said, well, the Thursday there's going to be a session, so why don't you drop by? So since then, I've been sort of stick to it. So that's been for me, been very helpful for my journey as well, because these people I'm seeing, you do what you can. You don't have to stick to a certain job or something to offer. Like if you know how to make coffee, you help out. Like you can prepare some chairs, you do that. So that's how I got involved. So it was like we try to make it more like how do you call it? More like human or family. So basically, like once a month we'll have like gatherings, go to a restaurant, have something to eat. Basically feel like we can still do this like normal people do, right? So I said, this is good stuff. For me, that was like, instead of staying at home, because by myself, right? I said, what am I going to do? Like someone sitting at home and like just look out the window, you know what I mean? Other than that, twice a day I do the volunteer, nothing else to do. So I said, the rest of the days, what am I going to do, right? So like this is like, feel like back to normal. So that's why, So we do all of this, like we do grass sales, and then maybe go to the next slide, and then, yeah, you see? So basically, if somebody who have a birthday, so we have a barbecue, and then we have some cake, feel like a family. So these are the things that we do, right? So back to normal, so feel good. Instead of like most people that you realize are people who have brain injury, like a stroke, and then kind of like just slowly kind of away from society, we try to be more normal. And then the next picture, that was me. That was discharged from GF Strong. That was about nine years ago or so. That was the next morning. I said, I don't need anything. I can walk normal. I was so happy. I need a picture of myself. So that's the picture came from. So this is over 8 years ago. So yeah, maybe any more pictures, slides?
That's the only ones from you.
Oh, okay.
Have you
Yeah,
any
so,
stories you wanna share?
nah, that's okay. Yeah, well, anyway, that was my story. From on a wheelchair to slowly do more stuff, able to walk. But as I said, took like 3 years. But it's been quite a journey. For me, what I learned the most is stress, really no good. That's why I ended up back in the hospital. So I happened collapsed 8 times. The last time, that's why I later have a picture in the, I'm going to show you a picture in the restaurant. I asked my friend, I said, you got to take a picture of me. I'm going to put a commitment. This is going to be the last time. So until today, that was the last time. So every time something negative, unhappy, so I try to do something else. What was it that helped me? So I said, whatever I do, like go walk it away, talk to somebody about it. These are the things that helps. So I just stick to it. And it's been helpful. Yeah, so, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, and I think for me, when I was witnessing the group and hearing from Danny, it was like Danny felt hope from the experience with Deb in the hospital. Danny also is feeling, like meaning, life, like joy again after being able to volunteer and provide this back to people. And then like that reciprocal joy and community and all the things that you have, inclusion from being part of this group was inspiring. And as a researcher, I wanted to see how we can continue this. And so we over years, co-created with other brain injury associations and a peer support program for people with brain injury, really trying to emphasize that expertise that people with injury have to meet people where they're at, no matter where they're at in their journey of brain injury. So we have our program is, people who are early on in stroke or brain injury are partnered with people like Danny, who's a peer support worker. And they are matched with certain like life experiences. We did a small project on like how to make the best match kind of thing. And our program is over about 3 months, but it's very tailored to where people are at and what people need. And yeah, I just seeing what Debbie had created in her group and that hope and meaning and joy that peer support workers get, that participants get, really just wanted to continue to amplify that. And this is a very co-created, partnered project as well. Like obviously Danny's the person who does the intervention along with 22 other people that are in similar situations as him. And we are partnered with we're partnered with community organizations as well. And there's other projects in our lab as well. I'll just very briefly talk about that. Rini over there has not just one, but 2 posters at that conference. And her project is trying to understand and address public perception of brain injury. Because again, like after hearing stories about, Danny's experience, for example, getting on the bus and people don't give up their seat because what's wrong with you? You look fine. So just really trying to address public perception, but doing it in a co-created patient partner way. There's measures of public perception, but they were created by people without brain injury. So trying to adapt these measures so that they're developed by people who are receiving these misconceptions of brain injury perception. And other project we have on care partners after brain injury who really are very overlooked with this whole experience. And we're trying to co-create partnered or peer support programs for them as well. And Jade is doing that over there. So that's my journey to this point. That's Danny's journey in all this, getting like roped in to this peer support expert, living expert.
Wow.
See, exactly. I think that's probably time for us as well. So please, if you have any questions for either of us, we're open books.
Thank you. So this session is being recorded, so that's hence why the microphones. So I'll just run around with the microphone if anyone has a question that they'd like to ask. Okay.
Hi, I'm Chad Dickey from Victoria. And a question for you is, do you have anything developed for how to, as a person with an invisible disability, I've recovered from my stroke, to how to advocate for myself when I get, what are you doing sitting here? You're not disabled. So have you worked on, or are you developing something like that on how to engage and how to empower patients with invisible conditions?
Sure. Do you want me
Maybe
to
you
talk
go-
to you?
yeah.
And then you can maybe see
Yeah.
from your experience too. That's a great question, and that's part of the reason why we're doing, Rinny's doing her study on trying to address that, because, there's a couple things, right? We need to share with the public that just because something looks like some way, then it doesn't mean that it is that way. So that's one thing that we're trying to do. We have in our study for the peer support workers who want it, we've created like peer support worker identification cards, just an ID card that says, I have a brain injury, these are my issues. And people, we were inspired by a community organization who did that for their members. And they said they used it in places like airports and going through security when they were getting so overwhelmed and can't follow the instructions, and then people were getting mad at them, and they're like, oh, where am I going to even make my plane? Are we going to get, so they were able to show this card and then be dealt with in a different way, or to a bus or whatever if they don't have the words for it as well. So that helps, but I feel like, some people may not want to also disclose, so that's hard too. And that's kind of where we're trying to meet that from a public position, to be like, try to meet people with some grace, like just because they're, driving slow or taking a long time to, pack their groceries or whatever else. It's just like there might be something more going on to somebody. Yeah.
Do we have any more questions?
Did you want to say something to that?
Here. I want more people to know, because you look at me, you might see I'm pretty normal. For example, like if I stand too long, my right side will give in sometimes. Like my right hand, it looks like normal, but when doing lifting, everything, like especially small fine print stuff, or doing things, actually I'm not there. When I'm tired, usually at the beginning, it used to be 2-3 hours. I need to take breaks, like take a nap every 3 hours or so, maybe 4 if you're lucky. But now, after so many years, now I can do about 6-7 hours. I don't need anything. But when I'm tired, like when you went on the bus, so I need to bring that out. So at least there's something to help me. Let people know I have a disability, because they can't tell, right? So at least on the bus, they will let me have a seat, and then so I don't have to say much. Like right now, my talk seems to be kind of normal, but when I'm tired, the words don't make sense. What's coming out, it doesn't make sense. I don't even know what it is. It's gibberish. Sometimes I mix up. Sometimes I just speak in Chinese. People don't even know what I'm saying. And I did not know I was speaking in Chinese. When I'm tired, that's what happens. But if I'm refreshed, everything, like right now, I understand. I can kind of like absorb what I'm doing. So this comes in handy without I'm saying anything. So yeah, I hope more people know about it. Like my eyesight, I don't see much, only like 10%. So you're looking at me, I'm like a normal guy, right? So basically I'm see nothing on this side. Nothing. So basically with this eye or without this eye, I see the same amount. So yeah, no difference. So hopefully more people will know about it. That's why. So yeah.
It's like a white stick, like a. It's not a walking stick. It's not
Yeah.
like a cane. It doesn't give any like physical support.
Yeah. This one is just that people know I have seeing problem, which is that when I'm tired, basically, I used to like a lot, like walk into trees. I can't believe it. I apologize to a tree. I think about it. I said, I'm the one getting a bruise. What the heck for? Right? Like telephone post on, well, bang. I said, ouch. You know, I mean, being Canadian, the first thing what I did was, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I said, Jesus, this is a tree or telephone phone. I'm getting hurt, right? So, yeah. So that's what happens when I'm tired. I cannot be normal, even though I try, but actually can't. So basically, with the stick, the blunt stick, it helps. So people, when I'm walking, at least people see it. At least they make ways. I feel have more confidence. So yeah. So yeah.
Allowed to have questions? Because you're in the lab.
No.
You're not in the lab.
I don't really have any questions, but I just wanted to say that, Danny, hearing about your story was actually very inspiring. I hope you continue to share it with other people. Just being, and Julia, what you mentioned about walking into a room and finding your group of people and feeling like you can relax and be totally yourself. Danny, I'm really glad that you found that with your community.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really awesome to hear and see, and you know that you're I guess a testament to that there is life after disability, and that it's possible to integrate into society and find your community. And I think that's really awesome to hear, because you know some people, they like your optimism and your positive energy. I think that's really infectious. Like I could feel that when you guys were giving your talk. And
well, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome to see and hear, like in real life time. So yeah, continue to share your story. I think that's really important.
As I said, it took years, so this is year 11
Yeah,
now.
you know,
So.
good things always take time, and I mean, look where you are now compared to before. I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And we're going to move over to the next speaker, but I wanted to say thank you again to Julia and to Danny.
Great. Great job.